We're on?
And we're good.
Yep. 12:41.
All right, a little late, but we're good.
12:41. Guys, I'm really sorry that we were this late. Completely my fault. I was drilling the Axiom and I didn't get here early enough to get it drilled and get it out of the lane. So literally it just came off the press. I drilled it 5 1/4. So it's basically the normal drilling that you guys have seen for most of the layouts. Axiom, whatever, core, cover, all that stuff. You can find that stuff online. But I want to talk about just a couple of things before I throw some shots down the lane. Number one, I don't know how many shots I'm going to be able to throw. I was bowling a tournament this last weekend and I got a pretty bad stinger in my wrist. And so I shut it down and I didn't bowl on Sunday. I haven't bowled since then. It's feeling okay, so I'm going to take it easy, okay? Number two, the 10 in the Pit League, the Wednesday 4-man 10 in the Pit League. You can find information about that on the 10 in the Pit Facebook page. Josh, how many teams do we have right now?
9.
Okay, 9 teams already have signed up, so I think that's pretty good. We just got that out literally, I think, last week. So, and we only have the capacity for 20 teams, so that's looking pretty good. If you want more information on that, check with Josh, put it in the comments, and we'll put some of the details in the flyer that Josh made in the comments as well. What else? The back alley volleyball. Progress is rapid. The back parking lot is completely tore up. Getting ready to put the cement pad in. The electrical poles are in for the lights. The whole site is excavated. Getting ready to get leveled. We got, what is it, like 300 tons of sand? Might even be 3,000 tons of sand. Getting ready to be delivered here in a few weeks. So if you're interested in volleyball, get your sign up before the end of March. It's half off the sign-ups. So if you're at all interested in the volleyball, this is going to be probably the nicest one around, at least that I know of. And there's going to be bocce leagues eventually, and places for cornhole, outdoor patio, covered bar. So it'll be pretty cool. What else? Bowl U. Many people have messaged me about the summer Bowl U workshop, the Elements class. I've been waiting until I found out what was going to be happening with the PBA League. Fortunately, Johnny Petraglia decided to save me on their team, which I'm very flattered, and so I'm looking forward to that. Because of that, and because of the senior tour, I got the senior tour starting in April, going up until Father's Day, and then the PBA League starts July 19th, and then I go right into the senior tour. So there is a 1 month, a 4-week window that I'm going to be putting the summer workshop in that. The way it's going to work is, and we'll get a flyer out very soon, okay? Everything happened last week with the PBA League, so we got to get a flyer out. But this is how it's going to go. Starting Monday, June 22nd, and Tuesday, June 23rd, the Elements class will be Mondays and Tuesdays this summer, and it'll be 4 weeks long. So Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, 8 classes, 8 sessions for the Elements class. If you have attended the Elements class in the past, then you can come to the ball motion workshop on Thursdays. Each session is $30, 6:30 sharp until at least 9:30 at night. So many people have been asking on that, and again, I'll get a flyer out very soon on that.
Rick says he wants to see the picture of the construction.
we've been told not to show any pictures right yet. I can show you something personally, but we're finishing up some of the other stuff. It's pretty cool, so whatever, we'll go with that. What else? The league, Bull U, the volleyball, I got everything.
Your workout?
Heather Dorico, you met her last week on our Wednesdays with Josh and Brad. Heather Dorico with Bowl Fit. Heather and Jason Sterner worked with some of the Bowl U stuff last week, right after the video. That next weekend, or last weekend, Heather was fortunate enough to shoot her first 800 series. She shot 813, I think it was. So, and she said, yeah, all I was thinking about was the stuff that we worked on. So proof that Bowl U works. Jason Sterner, loved it, loved it, loved it. He stayed here until almost 7 o'clock at night. So we were literally here all day. And Jason Sterner is out bowling the World Series. He bowled pretty solid the first 2 days. Yesterday he was making a run to make match play, and he ended up missing match play, qualified 17th. But he is in good shape for the World Series, which is really what you're out there for. Or excuse me, the World Championship, which is really what we're out there for. And so good luck to him today. I think he was in like 16th or 17th place. 100 pins ahead of the cut number for match play, so good on you, Jason Sterner. Thomas Larson, who you met last week. Thomas Larson, he struggled a little bit, but he did make match play the second day in Chameleon, so we'll be rooting for him on the Chameleon pattern in match play that starts next week. So, anyways, good stuff there. I guess that's it. Is that it? Or did I get off track?
I think that's it.
No, Heather Dorico.
Oh, yeah.
So I started my workout with Heather Dorico. I drove down to Rochester on Monday and worked with her. I was a little sore yesterday. I did my second workout today. Got the full thing in. And I got to tell you guys, I was really impressed with the app. I've never seen anything like that before. So it was great. Heather and I discussed what direction I wanted to go, and then she built me a program specifically designed for me. And then in the app I signed up for, she plugged in the workout, and then as I went from one exercise to the next exercise, there's little videos attached that I was able to watch to remind me exactly the keys on how to do that exercise most efficiently. And then once I got it done, I could click done, and every single one that I did, every single station that I did goes in the app, and then Heather can monitor my progress, and we can discuss where I'm sore, and I'm really excited about it, to be honest with you. So I did speak to Heather. She said that there was a handful of you that reached out to her. Thank you. And I think it's a good thing. I'm excited about the whole thing. I've never seen anything like that before, so I thought it was pretty cool. There might be other stuff out there, but from where I'm coming from, I have worked with other trainers who are very knowledgeable, but I haven't worked with a trainer who is specifically understands exactly what we deal with in bowling. So for those of you that are interested in that, please reach out to Heather at BowlFit and get yourself signed up and get working on a better you. All right, so let's throw some shots. Let's get the questions coming out. Rick is on, so if you have any questions for Rick and maybe any of the Bowl U workshops he might be doing throughout the country, I know he's open to schedule and travel, so get plugged into that. I don't know how well I'm going to be. I already told you about my wrist, but I'm pretty sore in my shoulders. My biceps are a little sore and my legs are a little sore. So I'll just do the best I can. This is literally right off the press. So, and I haven't thrown any shots. So give me a couple shots to get loose and you'll be seeing it for the first time just like I am, okay? Here we go. off walking the foul. Did it look as bad as it felt?
Yeah.
Whew. I'm going to stretch a little bit before I throw that next one. I already stretched my hand pretty good, my wrist pretty good, so I'm good there. And that actually felt okay. So I'll tell you on this side of it, if I have any issues at all, any pain, I'm going to shut it down. So I hope I don't. So we'll go from there. All right, now we got a ball return. That's what I figured. I got to run down and get the ball.
No, he's gonna go that way. So what do we got going on in the shop today?
No, don't put that camera on.
Well, they don't want to just look at the lanes for another 2 minutes.
Sure they do.
You got
a lot going on.
You got some shipment of the balls coming in. Anything else new that you got in today?
Not really new, but some good
Restocked
stuff.
a little bit of the bare shelves a little bit, so people can stop on in and get some
balls.
stuff.
We got used balls.
Oh yeah.
Nice used balls. Come in and check it out.
Well, he's still gone. Oh boy.
Well, you got to shut it off to
Not.
get it out of there.
Right, well, it depends on where it is.
Unless you want your hand to get swiped out.
You got 2 of them. Are we switching to 21 or what?
Turn around and head down top for a minute.
That's what I did, and he said no. Wait, let's. How about some details about the?
Rick said the bowling ball's too big.
Yeah.
That could be very true.
About the 10 in the pit league. I mean, it'll be on the flyer, but we got the end of the year tournament. What do you got for raffles and whatnot going on every week?
Well, what's going to happen is, let me put this in my pocket so I'm not distracted. It's going to be $20 a week. $10 goes to the prize fund. $10 obviously goes to lineage. We are having an end of the year tournament for just the people that bowl in that league, and you, the bowler, don't have to pay a single dime. Bright Angel Lanes is donating $1,000 to that tournament, and we're going to be doing monthly ball raffles in that league. So half the money from the ball raffles will go to the original prize fund, and the other half will go to the tournament prize fund. So there's going to be a good amount of money floating around in that league. It's going to be a pretty good time. 85% of 230 handicap. We're not getting ridiculous with the handicap, but people that get handicap are still going to get their fair share of pins. Other than that, that's about it for the league. There's 9 teams signed up. Once we get to 20, that's all we can hold. We only got 24 lanes, and we always like to keep a pair or two for, in case there's an issue or a breakdown pair. But it looks like we're moving and grooving on 23 now.
Oh, good thing I can move my light here. Here.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay. So we're moving over to 23. I just don't want the ball return to get stuck and I have to run down there again. So hopefully we're on a better lane here. Smoother. Thought that was pretty strong for. Obviously, with these stronger, solid balls, obviously fall into the slow response time category, which is what we would expect.
Stone 7 and a 9er.
That's pretty strong, though. I mean, again, that's what we'd expect. It's got that new, stronger cover on it. forget what it was called now.
The energy is the other one.
NEX cover, I think is what it was. Josh, can you run in and grab the box? It'll show up on the box and show the numbers. I'm just standing on 15, looking at 15, just kind of like I normally do. What I saw is that it didn't have a problem reading the precession started very early, which is fine. So I'm not going to move my feet. I'm just going to increase my speed a little bit. Okay, so slower response time, oil down lane, a little bit of a closed rack. I think that's what we would expect. I never expect an 810, but
This is the most important thing on the whole box. It smells like blueberry muffins.
blueberry muffins, and it really does. Here, you want to smell?
I'll get up real close.
Wow, doesn't that smell nice? So it's the new NEX cover stock. Sanded to 3000 grit, 248 RG, differential 050. Obviously, lower RG, good for fresher patterns. Certainly, I would say stronger cover, relatively strong core. That differential 050.
How's it compared to the Idol?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I guess what we could do, go get the Idol box and compare them. I think the numbers of the Idol, I think, are 247 or 248.
Is that ASIM?
This is not asymmetrical.
Oh, I'm going to like that one.
Okay.
I'm going to like that.
Okay, all I did there was, probably should have told you first, all I did there was I gave it a little bit more axis rotation. I don't usually use axis rotation as my first choices, but for as smooth as it looked, for as slow as it looked, I thought I could get away with it, and that looked pretty good.
I think the Idol's a little quicker than that one, just by the first few shots watching it.
That was pretty good as well. Hopefully, when I say more axis rotation, you see my hand gets a little bit more this way. But when I'm rotating it, I'm still trying to work that circumference of the ball. I don't want to spin it to achieve axis rotation. So that looked pretty good. Okay, now this rack is a little off. I think this is a similar rack that was there when I left that 810. So if I throw the similar shot, this could leave another weak 10 or maybe even an 810. We'll see. Okay, kind of half pocket, so still looked like it deflected.
What's the surface on the ball?
Video. Have them shoot some
Now we're back
thumbs
on.
up if we're back on.
Now we're back on.
It's weird. Okay. Never had it cut out like that.
Okay. Seeing shots. That actually looks pretty good.
800 this Thursday.
No, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it goes. Obviously, it's on the smoother or slower side, ball motion-wise. It's obviously stronger cover.
Oh, did it again.
Shows
Up there.
So it shows them live still on here.
That one I got a little bit right. Once that got into the lateral friction, it recovered just fine. I wouldn't say that I would key on getting it out there, but let's try it. I'll try to repeat that one, even though that was a shot that I wasn't expecting to throw. It was a little different than what I wanted. Wow, that got back okay. So now I'm just going to try to use a little more angle, simulate that shot, and then we'll get a different look at this ball from that perspective.
I got a question from Adam. When would you use this ball during league on house shots? Fresh, right?
Yeah, probably on the fresh. I'd probably use it at tournaments on the fresh. I don't know what it reminds me of, a little bit, of the Pro Motion. If you remember when I first threw that Pro Motion, I think it's stronger.
Yeah, it's stronger.
But where that Pro Motion here on our house shot, when that got down at the end of the pattern, I didn't have a problem having it recover. It wasn't overly quick, but at the same time, it looked very similar down lane. Although the Pro Motion certainly, I think, was a little weaker. I didn't see the precession be able to get here as easily with that Pro Motion. It was more here, and then when it got down the lane. So I'll throw another shot from right here with a little more angle, just like I did the last couple. Okay, now I'll move to the right, move about 5 and 5 to the right, throw it a little faster, a little lower rev rate. So those of you that's what you try to do during your leagues, you can see a little bit from over there. So now I'm standing on 10. Actually, I'm going to look at 12, okay? So 5 and 3 move. Lower my rev rate a little, increase my speed a little. Wow, that looked pretty good too. So good. So we have another good usable ball. I wouldn't want to assess exactly the usability until I use it on a number of patterns. Rick, if you want to, if you wouldn't mind, rather, I should say, if you wouldn't mind, chime in, or if you can, a couple weeks ago, you had put a really good post on the, I think it was just in the Facebook discussion, wherever it was. I don't remember where it was. But it was about when you market the usability of a ball, you market it to everybody. When you only talk about what it does, that only appeals to a smaller group. So if you could either screenshot that message or that post, or maybe type something quickly and put it in here, I think it would be great for all of these people. The purpose of these videos, and before Josh and I ever even decided to do these videos, I had told Josh, I don't want to do ball videos. I don't want to say this ball does this and this ball does that, and this ball clears the front and controls the mid lane and continues down lane. You can hear that on every single ball video that you watch, and you get to a point to where we start marketing bowling balls based on what they do from 35 to 50 feet, what they do in that little 15-foot window. But we really need to be interested in the whole entire 60 feet, and that has to do with precession, and that has to do with launch angles and response times of the pattern, and what your physical game is. There's really a lot more to it. And that's a lot of the stuff that we discuss in Bowl U, and in a normal weekend Bowl U workshop, or that is the stuff we'll be discussing on the Monday and Tuesday group. But that's the elements class. And then once you take the elements class, you'll understand more of the language. And then when you come to the Thursday class next year, that's strictly about ball motion and understanding how to mix the 5 elements that we talk about, okay? So I'll throw another shot, standing 10, looking 12, higher speed, lower rev rate. I got that one in a little bit, missed in on that one. It's still laid there just fine. Tripped the 4-pin.
You're on 9 in a row, Haas.
But in a league shot, on a league pattern, that's what you would expect if you're lined up.
9 in a row. From all different sorts of ways.
All right, so now I'm going to move in, go back to where I was originally, and then add 5 and 3 left. So now I'm 20 and 18. Now, if we start using too much angle with slower response balls, that's where we get into, wow, is this ball going to be able to get through the pins, or is this going to deflect too much? So if I break off, I would expect it would be because it would be a weak 10 type of deflection. So 20, looking 18. Obviously, this will be more angle. And that just wiggled down lane. So off of that shot, I don't know that I will move lateral, but I will certainly slow down so it has a chance to be able to pick up. Now that could have been oil down lane because these were used last night. So it might be just hydroplaned down lane because of the oil down lane and the slower response time to friction characteristic that this ball we already know has. So same angles, same standing, same looking. I'm just going to get slower. Give it a little bit more time to read. That looked pretty good, even from there. So I didn't sense that that was labored down lane. Why? Because it read before. Actually, a lot of people have been asking me how come I'm not bowling the World Series this week. And that ball motion right there is probably the biggest reason why. For me to get my ball to read early enough so it's not as sensitive to the transition that happens down lane, that's tough for me to do out on tour. And as you saw there, wow, that ball read perfect and then still had plenty left down lane. Out on tour, if I do that same move, it's like the ball hydroplanes down lane. I don't have the rev rate to be able to get it back and allow it to make that lateral move down lane into the pocket. Yes?
Because I think he's new, so he's kind of confused. He says when you say I'm standing on 10 looking at 12, you finish on 16, you always drift?
Well, if I'm standing on 10, I'll stop on this shot. Playing these angles, a little bit bigger angles, I think I drift 12 boards left. But when I was playing over to the right, standing on 10, looking at 12, I drift 14 boards left. And the reason for that is my body is a little bit more closed relative to the target, but I still walk the same direction relative to the angle I'm trying to launch the ball. And again, we can teach you about that in Bowl U and that sort of stuff.
They were just wondering because you're saying standing on 10, looking at 12.
Yeah, well, remember, wherever you stand and wherever you look is nothing more than a reference point.
Right.
Okay? Just because I do that to achieve that, Thomas Larson, as an example, he has to factor in, okay, so therefore you're sliding on what? and then he backtracks it. Where do I have to start? Where does Thomas have to start to be able to slide on the same place that I am, or lay down? Or, you know, there's a lot of things to factor in. It's not that it's a foolproof. I'm going to drill the axiom, and I'm going to stand on 10 and look at 12, because look what it does.
That's not what he's saying. He was just wondering.
So watch. Well, I'll show you. Okay. So I was standing on 20. And relative to the boards, you can see that I'm not straight with the boards. I'm like this because I want more launch angle. Now I just walk normal relative to my launch angle, and then I project the ball in that direction. So standing on 20, and because I got more launch angle going this way, I just won't drift as much. So this will probably be 12 boards. So I'll stop. After we show the shot, then I'll have Tim zoom in down to where my foot. So I'm not going to cheat you, but this is what it looks like. 20, looking 18, more angle, should be sliding 32. I didn't move. So we got 20, 25, 30, 31, 32. I slid 32 and a quarter. Now let's go back. Let's go back to when I was standing on 10 looking at 12. Because my launch angle doesn't have to be as extreme, I got it more closed. If I line up and backtrack everything relative to my launch angle, I just will inherently drift more. I don't do it on purpose. I do everything based on the angle that I'm trying to project the ball on, okay? So, standing on 10, looking at 12. Now, Tim, get a zoom of my foot. Notice that when I was farther left and I wanted more angle, relative to the boards, I was like this, walking in that direction. Now that I want my angles more closed, I just align this way. Okay? So I would guess that I'll probably slide, probably on about 24, give or take. So I'm at 10. Closed angle. And look, I didn't move. So this is 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, right on about 24 and a half or all of 25. So, pretty neat. And I learned that from Rick. There was a time in my career when I could not play outside. Then there was a time in my career when I couldn't play left of 15. Now keep in mind, this was 30 years ago during my development, before the strength of bowling balls and the slickness of the oils. Ryan Schaefer, if I can use Ryan as an example, he had a great post today that he put out on his page. And I ended up reading it to my wife, Michelle, saying, babe, this is exactly what I deal with out on tour. Exactly. I can do different things, and I can try to do the things that the higher speed and rev rate guys do. But the problem out on tour is it's hard for me to do that for all of those games as well as they do it, because that's what they do naturally. And then when you factor in the urethane balls going down the lane, and you factor in the slickness of the oils and going across the house, some guys, what they do naturally isn't near as sensitive to the transition as what I like to do. So in order for me to even have a chance to succeed, I have to try to do something different, which means they just have an inherent advantage. So if you have a chance, if you're already friends with Ryan, that was a pretty neat little, just a little recap of his last 3 days. Ryan, I feel for you. I struggle when I'm out on tour, and I feel like my execution is great, and then we get done, and then I'm, 100, 150 pins behind, it feels like every week. And Thomas Larson, I know that's what he was dealing with all week long. And it's just such a frustrating thing when you really feel confident, like I'm prepared physically. Thomas was here all last week working on bowl use stuff. We had the ropes on the lanes and tape on the lanes, and
You still had some success.
and he really felt like he was ready physically. And as I said, he bowled okay on Tuesday. I think he qualified in the top 10, so he's going to have match play here next week. But, he was nowhere near where he needed to get for the World Championship. So, all right, let's take some questions. If you want me to throw more shots, I will.
Okay.
I don't have any problem with my hand right now, so I don't want to keep bowling.
No.
So if you want, we can even shut the lane off and have some questions, or we can just have this be a shorter week.
Yeah. You ready?
Yep.
Sale. Why on the longer patterns is everyone standing to the left and the shorter pattern standing to the right? This is the opposite of what I did back in the day, and how long ago did this happen?
Well,
Rick kind of answered it for him, but
every single thing that we do is based on transition. Everything. Now, with the longer pattern, typically the field, we need more surface to get the ball to read. Because of that, the fronts break down a little bit more, and then we all migrate left. But what we're really looking for on the longer pattern is where our ball is coming out of the pattern. Obviously, if our ball comes out of the pattern, if it's a 45-foot pattern and our ball comes out of the pattern on the 3rd, 4th, or 5th board, then it only has 15 feet to be able to make it back that lateral, in that case, 13 to 15 inches. And as transition is happening, that end of the pattern's changing dramatically, and it's very difficult to maintain that good a ball motion until the lane becomes laterally defined. So now I know I threw out a lot of terms there. You may or may not know exactly what I'm talking about. If Rick already answered it, kinda, I would say if I said anything that's different than what Rick said, then defer to Rick, because he really is the man, in my opinion, the #1 coach, the best person in the world that understands bowling from a holistic point of view through and through. He had a unbelievably brilliant conversation with Thomas Larson the other day before Thomas left. And just to listen to Rick's knowledge, there's nothing that I want to add. I just end up taking away from when I hear him.
All right, you ready?
Yep, more questions.
Is there a ball you would recommend that can be used on both wood and synthetic length? I don't throw it with a lot of massive speed or revs. I just find myself all over a lane on wood.
Well, there's two things that I'll say, Ryan. #1, the ball you should be using on every pattern at all times is
Your eyeball.
your eyeball. And yeah, that's funny. No, I'm being serious. Everything that we do is based on what we see. So if your ball's going all over the place on wood, then maybe come on in and we discuss what balls you're choosing, what angles you're choosing, your speed and rev rate tendencies, and you may not have a ball to be able to match up to that. But all of it is based on spinning the variables, mixing the variables together to come up with good ball motion. There's no one formula that works for everybody. You have medium to low rev rate and medium speed based on where you're bowling. Are you talking game 1? Are you talking game 3? There's a lot of things that we can discuss. I don't know if right here is the best time to be answering all of those questions. But if you want to schedule a time to come in and meet with Josh, and I can be here, yeah, I'll stop over. We actually just did that last week with one of the other customers here at Pit Nation. And hopefully that went well enough, and I hope that that person that was here enjoyed it. So I know it helped Jason, and I know it helped Heather last week for sure. Another question.
Do you see that ball being good for either speed dominant or rev dominant players, or will one side like it better than the other?
If you have a rev dominant player and they're on 45 feet, yeah, they'll probably love it. If you're bowling on wood and you're more speed dominant, yeah, you'll probably love it. I've thrown the exact number of shots that you have seen with that ball. So to be able to say what that's going to be great for, I think it's right now, for me, it's going to be just another tool that I play around with and start to decide where its usability is. And I think it's kind of obvious, at least right here. It's obviously a smoother, slower response time. I would say medium high to medium friction. Maybe one of these weeks we'll drill the UFO. We'll do a same thing with the UFO. We'll get out a couple of the other stronger balls that I have.
Nuclear cell, I said maybe in the...
Yeah, the nuclear cell, that's on the rotor grip side, so I don't readily get that. So I would have to order that, and I think they're already back ordered. It's a pretty tough problem and it feels like literally almost every ball that you come out with is a usable ball. Of course, over the last year or so, there's been a handful of balls here or there that haven't really looked that good and never really took off. But I feel, like that Phase 3, I mean, it's awesome. Everybody on tour uses it.
Back-to-back 300s, baby.
Yeah, Josh had a couple 300s with it. So, whatever. I mean, that ball has easily earned its way into my arsenal.
I drilled up a few of them UFOs, and some people got their first 300s with that ball, too.
I've seen the UFO. I've seen a couple of guys that we bowl against on the weekends. Their first ball out of their bag is the UFO. I haven't even put holes in it yet. But I do have one. So maybe we drill a UFO, do a similar video like this on the UFO, and then maybe one of the weeks we get the UFO, my old trusty Sherlock, a Phase 2, an Idol, as some of you asked, and the Axiom, and we compare all of them. So you can start comparing these balls as they relate to balls that you already have in your bag and that have been out on the market, and we already know what to expect when we throw those. I think that's really the thing, is what we're looking for is the little subtle differences in bowling ball motion from one ball to the next ball. That way, if you have a ball that you like, then you know where this other ball would fit related to that ball. That way you take out your particular speed and rev rate characteristics, okay? And we're judging it based on balls that you already like, and the usability of this ball fits here, and then all of a sudden, anybody can throw this particular ball as it relates to another ball.
All right,
another
I
question.
got a question. You can take the PC route if you want to and say no comment, or you can answer it. Ed, do you feel that there's too many bowling balls being released and too many balls being made?
Too many bowling balls being released, too many bowling balls being made. Is there too many? The bowling ball companies got to make money. Car companies have to make money. The easiest way for them to make money is to come out with another ball. And too many? It's based on how much money they need to make. Now, I don't know if that's the politically correct or not. Without a doubt, I would easily say you got the IQ Tour, you got the High Road. I just drilled 2 High Road Pearls when I was out on tour. They both look awesome. Well, that isn't re-released. You know why? Because those balls fill that usability that masses of people like. So therefore, masses of people buy those balls. They haven't had to take that ball off the market and then re-release one in its place. I think the stronger, slower response time balls, those are the balls that keep getting turned over. And I think the answer is simple. You get the oil absorption, it slows down the response time of that ball. People bring it in, they want to get the oil out of it.
Which I've had oh my God,
but they never necessarily really make it back to the way it looks right out of the box. So, you got to be a little careful to falling in love with a ball as soon as you drill it out of the box, because guess what? Whether you like it or not, 20 to 30 games later, that ball is going to be dramatically different than it was when you get it out of the box. And that doesn't make it a bad ball. I had a conversation with a customer the other day.
Well, it's just like the ProMotion. You saw that difference.
Yeah, I mean, the ProMotion is that example, okay? I can't use it the same way now that I used that 2 months ago, 3 months ago when I drilled it. It's just not the same because it's taken on oil. And we've talked about this in the past. I'm fortunate enough to have the luxury of drilling more whenever I want. So I am going to drill a fresh one because I liked it so much when I drilled the original one. But I had a conversation with a customer the other day. They had a ball that they loved when it first came out, and now there's a couple hundred games on it, and they don't like it anymore. And I asked them these questions. Number one, what happens to a ball as it takes on more oil? What happens to the response time? Well, obviously, it smoothens out. The response time gets slower. Okay, so that doesn't mean the ball stinks. That just means that the usability of that ball has changed. And I see so many people, they fall in love with a ball right out of the box, and that's the way they want it to react through the first 30 games, 50 games, 100 games, 200. They want it to always be the same, and that's just not going to be the case anymore because of the absorption qualities and the other cover stock qualities that is bowling ball technology now. That's what's evolved. So I hope that answers your question. If you end up taking that ball that has 200 games on it that you used to love and you learn to use it relative to what it has turned into, you may be surprised. You might fall in love with it and like it even more using it that new usable way rather than the way it came out of the box. Hope that makes sense.
And just quick last call up for questions.
Okay,
we'll give
so
you a couple of minutes.
again, just to finish up, if you're interested in the Pit Nation League on Wednesday, starting in the fall, you got to let us know. It's going to be first come, first serve. I don't know if Josh mentioned $25 deposit to hold your team spot. Obviously, that'll get credited to your first week. So however you work that out with your team, we're not looking to make money. That's not our money. That's your money. But we just want to make sure we hold the spot. Volleyball sign-ups, it's half off registration until the end of March. So you can save some money or put a team together. I know Tim was talking about putting a team together, possibly. Maybe Tim will be a sub, I don't know. Josh was talking about being the blocker, just going to stand there with his arms up and be another couple telephone poles out there on the volleyball court.
He's going to hold the lights.
So that's the thing. Bowl U, I'll get a flyer out later this week or easily by next week. So you'll learn more about that. And then if you have any questions for Rick about other camps that he might be doing around the country, reach out to him as well. And
I got one last good question.
Okay, one last good question, and then we'll call it a day.
We'll end it. Sal, Brad, with all these new balls coming out, how hard is it for you to personally put it in your arsenal and replace something else you've been using?
That is a good question. The question was, with all the new balls coming out, how difficult is it for me to drill that ball and then end up putting it into my arsenal? And the answer is, my arsenal is precious. Each ball in that arsenal is past that 30 game threshold, at least. A ball earns its way into that arsenal. It doesn't mean I won't use it during competition, but that core arsenal of balls, the balls that have all of those games on them, and I know the usability of that ball, I use those balls, and only those balls, to give me good feedback about the pattern, as to what's going on with the pattern. It's very easy for me to make that invisible course come alive when I'm throwing those core arsenal balls. That's why I say the eyeball is the most important, because I need to see what I'm trying to accomplish first, and then I might use an axiom. Even though it might not be in my arsenal, I don't necessarily only use arsenal balls, but I certainly begin by throwing arsenal balls down the lane so I can get good feedback of what's going on with a pattern, okay? That's very, very important. And again, we can talk about that in the ball motion workshop. Not really something we'll get that deep in the elements workshop, but in order to really understand the direction we're going and response time and what it really, really is, because it's different than what the industry has turned it into. Understanding that stuff we discuss in the ball motion element, and then in the ball motion specific workshop, we mix all the elements and learn and teach you how to use your eyes more effectively. Okay? Did I answer the question?
So,
Yeah, okay. All right, so is this less than an hour?
Yep, 51 minutes.
Yo, our shortest one in a while. So like and share these. Thank you for those of you that reached out to me and told me how much you liked these videos. It really meant a lot. I get going on week after week after week, and I begin to wonder if these are still as welcomed. And Josh always reassures me. He's more in contact with you guys than I am, but he always assures me that you guys really love it. And so for that reason, I say thank you, and I look forward to, maybe we'll do the UFO next week. How's that? Because I do have one, and so I'll put a similar layout as I have in this, and we'll go from there. Okay? All right, thanks.